Hi, it's Amy with Intuitive Coaching with Amy Radio, and this is your sacred space for spirituality, intuition, manifestation, metaphysical wisdom, and personal development. Let's talk about dreams and how to use them as psychic information. Now, if you have been listening to my show for a while, I say often that I do not believe every dream is a psychic message. And even more than that, I have said many times that I believe sleep is a form of hygiene, and sleep is necessary for our physical, mental, emotional well being. And I don't believe spirit is constantly interrupting our sleep to send us messages. Now, that being said, I absolutely recognize that some people are naturally very connected through the dream channel, and they can receive very meaningful insight while they sleep. I think that's a very specific type of psychic gift. I'll also put my astro travelers in that category. But I think there's an important distinction to make that not every dream is psychic information. Sometimes a dream is simply your mind processing your experiences, emotions, memories, and everything you've moved throughout the day. But there are times when you wake up from a dream and you just know. You know that something about that dream was different. You wake up with the immediate feeling that, yes, that was psychic information. And that's not necessarily because it was dramatic or it had a lot of twists and turns, because it even predicted the future, but because something about it felt undeniably like a spiritual message. And that's how you know. Like, you will just sense it's a psychic message. Recently, I had a dream like that. That's why I'm doing this show. And I woke up and I immediately knew that was psychic information. It wasn't necessarily predictive, and it wasn't a dream where I was just shown exactly what was going to happen down the line. It was a message about healing. It was showing me an aspect of a situation that I had already done a lot of healing around, but there were pieces I hadn't fully addressed. Now, I've said this to you many times about dreams. I do believe when we are sidestepping what we know to be true, spirit will communicate with us through a dream as the last resort. And I do believe that's what spirit was doing in this instant. Like, listen, girl, this thing is holding you up and you've got to be willing to let it go. And so, again, I woke up and I knew undeniably that's psychic information. I knew exactly what it was showing me. And that is how I think you can recognize psychic information through a dream. It will not feel confusing. It will not feel like you need to spend hours going through every dream website trying to figure out what each piece meant. You will just understand something. I don't think these messages are being hidden from us. I think spirit readily wants to give it to us. The symbolism will make you sense something, because I don't believe spirit's just going to give you some symbols that have no meaning to you. I believe the symbolism in a dream will be personal. So, for example, in my dream, there were certain people and situations that represented very specific things in my life, and I immediately understood why they were there and what they represented. And that's usually how psychic information works. And it was a very well done dream, I'll tell you that. I give spirit like 100% A for production value on this dream because there was not a missing piece or and what I mean by that, and I'm sharing this with you because this is how you'll know if a dream is psychic information, is that again, you're not going to get some twists and turns. Oh my God, what did that mean? And what did that mean? And this and that. And oh my God, I feel all these feelings. I don't think any of that's psychic information. I felt very matter of fact about the dream. And that's, I say matter of fact is an aspect of intuitive information. And I knew exactly what to do with it when I woke up. And again, I think that is the piece I'm driving home, is that if it's really intuitive guidance for us everyday people, like again, I do believe that our psychics who receive very accurate psychic information through dreams. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about everybody else. And while I'm a very well-developed psychic, I do not have any desire, nor do I feel called to receive insight for myself or other people through dreams. So I think people can get confused about psychic information because they think the purpose is to know the future. And yeah, I do think I'm a damn good predictive psychic. I was trained that way. I've always believed that in predictive information. However, I believe what's most important is taking action. I think we are given these messages, intuitive messages, psychic messages, to take an action. It is designed to help us move forward. It is an answer to our prayer. And it is to show you that you need to see, and this word keeps coming up, that you're a participant in creating the life that you desire. So if you wake up from a dream and you believe it's psychic information, the question is not, what does this mean? What am I being guided to do? And so again, the action for me was healing. I ended up doing a releasing letter. If you're unfamiliar with releasing letters, this is a practice where you write everything you need to express. So they'll start with Dear so-and-so. Some teachers advise you to write to the higher self if you feel uncomfortable talking directly to that person. I do not. So I just wrote the name and then you just let it all out. Whatever's within you, whatever's coming up. It was so interesting because, I'm promoting my future self sessions. I've developed a process to help you talk psychically to your future self. And so I had done a psychic reading with my future self the night before. And as I was doing the releasing work, the area of my being where I received psychic information, I could feel her coming forward and assisting me because I know why it came through a dream. I've said this before, in this show, that if there's something where spirit really needs to get your attention, a dream is like, hey, like last resort. And so I know that that's what was going on. The spirit was really trying to get my attention. So she stepped forward to even help me say the words I needed to say because I had been, I had an energy in my life that was a big part of my life that I had healed a lot around, but I had been giving this person the benefit of the doubt on some things, and I had to finally tell myself the truth, and that's what came up in this releasing letter. And so I think releasing letters are beautiful, and I'm telling you, you can get psychic help even while you're doing them. I do believe psychic information comes up as we're moving through a spiritual practice if you really are taking that practice as far as you can take it. And so, again, a releasing letter is letting yourself write freely, being honest about what you feel, what you're releasing, what you're forgiving, and what you're ready to let go. You don't pay attention to punctuation, spelling. You just, and for me, when I'm doing as of late, when I'm doing a releasing letter, I tend to type them. and you just let it fly and let everything come up, and you'll know when you're done. And so again, through all of this is why I believe it was psychic information. And it's not, one more time, psychic information is not just given to us to make us feel special. We are special, but that's not the purpose of it. Or to make us feel like we have access to secrets. No. It's given to us to guide us into greater awareness and greater action. So now I also want to talk to you about predictive dreams because I do believe they can happen. I do believe that there are moments when dreams can show you something that's coming in the future. However, I do not believe the whole dream is predictive. Sometimes there may be symbolism or images in the background that represent something that will unfold, or you'll get one clean shot of something. And I've said this to you before. In my college years, I had a prophetic dream that showed me the image. And it showed it, and it's interesting, it showed it to me like a movie. Like I was watching it. And it was just this very specific moment. And it was, really life-changing for me. So I do believe you can get predictive information, but the most important piece is what you do with that information. I wish in my 20s I understood what was going on there, but I did not. I mean, of course, hindsight's 2020. I'm looking at it now and I'm like, girl, how did you not know? How did you not know? But we don't. So, I mean, here's where you stay connected to your spiritual practice. You keep yourself in a high vibrational state. And with that, you're surrounded by positive energy, positive people, positive situations to the best of your ability. It's going to be a lot easier to catch something like a prophetic dream or a prophetic sign that's taking you in the right direction. In this instance, going back to my college years, if I had paid attention to that, oh my God, I probably wouldn't even be here. I mean, here on this show, I'd probably be doing something else. But I mean, I'm always grateful the way my life takes me. It was truly life-changing. And if I had had the right resources in my life at that time, it could have saved me a lot of pain and hurt, right? And when I say I wouldn't be on this podcast, I probably wouldn't be doing this work. I know the importance of doing this work and being a space where people can discuss their spiritual journey as well as the intuitive and psychic information that they receive, because it's being given to you for a reason. And so I chose to be an intuitive coach so I could assist people with this, because largely in part because of that experience. And I clearly got psychic insight and I did not know what to do with it. I did not know what to do with it. And of course, I was in wrong environment, wrong people, or in situations. Wrong circumstances. And I couldn't see the forest for the trees. So, always ask yourself, what will move you forward? What will help you grow? And that is how you'll know the value of psychic information coming through a dream. I also want to remind you that an emotional dream is not necessarily a psychic dream. Sometimes we have dreams because we're processing a fear, a stress, a memory. A dream that creates a lot of emotion is not automatically psychic information. I think you know that. I just wanted to throw that out there. There's a different quality to it, a different knowing. A psychic dream, there's a sense of recognition there. And so you'll have a sense of, I'm going to pay attention to this. And then what do you do with it? You ask yourself, what action are you being called to take? What action are you being called to take? I think this is most helpful to people already on the spiritual path. You know yourself. You've been doing this work. You've been exploring your intuition. You're becoming more and more aware of your own patterns, your own inner guidance. So when something comes through, you're more likely to recognize it. You know the difference between a dream that is simply your mind processing and a dream that carries deeper meaning. So my encouragement is to trust yourself. Now, if you stumbled on this show because you're new on your spiritual journey, this might upset your sensitivities right now because there's this perceived idea that dreams have significant meaning. Probably not. Like, probably not. And if it is significant, you're already going to sense that it is. So, but I will say this to you. If you're really concerned, pray about it, journal on it, ask yourself, what are you being shown and what action? And these dreams are not pretty pictures. Symbolism are not pretty pictures. They are designed to encourage you to take a action. It'll be different for every person. It might be practical action, might be inner action. You'll just know. But yeah, ask yourself what you're being shown and what action you're being called to take. Because ultimately, intuition and psychic information are here to help you create a more conscious life. It is here to help you make choices that move you closer to who you came to this planet to be. So yes, dreams can be a source of psychic information. Practice discernment. Trust that what I say to you, that not every dream is a message, but when you know, you know. And that is the whole purpose of this show. So take the next right step. That is where the true magic is. And let's talk about, let's talk about my future self sessions. If you're interested in psychic information, if you're a manifester, I have created a way of connecting to the future self where you can receive psychic information that moves you forward. And it's not just a visualization, it's truly psychic information with a version of you on the timeline that you're requesting. And the way in which I will guide you to connect is just incredible. The insight that will come forward is such a blessing and so accessible, because essentially you're talking to yourself, right? You're talking to you in the future. My spirit guides are jumping in. It's like time traveling. Yeah, that's what it is. And typically I work on the spiritual plane. So those tend to be broader messages, but you do get specifics in that. But they're for the greater whole of humanity and your development, right? Like that's generally where I work, is on the spiritual plane. But this is the one service that I have. Sure, I'll do some mediumship as appropriate in sessions as it comes up. But for the most part, I work solely on the spiritual plane, the spiritual realm, angels, guides, gods, goddesses. That's the realm I work in. But this is one where I'm not working on that plane because, your future self's not in the spirit realm. Your future self is on another realm, another plane, right? And so I guide you into it safely. And you know what I love the most about it is that your future self loves talking to you. Like, as you get over the initial, like, willies about it, like, "Oh my god, I'm talking to my future self." It's pretty amazing. So I've developed this. I developed this because I wanted that insight. I do these future self visualizations, and I'd be like, "Well, that's boring." Like, I wanna talk to I wanna talk to my future self. Tell me I need some insight for right now, and, um, that I think I don't wanna say it's the downside, but the spiritual realm, angels, guides, ascended masters, gods, goddesses, I do think many of them visit the earthly plane, but, you know, they're not in a human body. And so, what is so beautiful about the future self sessions is that you're getting psychic guidance from you in a really safe and elevated way that's human to human. And so it's much easier to receive it and understand it, and almost to the point where I'll tell you this, even for me, I'll come out, I'll be like, okay, I know what to do. Thank you. That was amazing. I love that. And then I started trying to poke holes in it because it is so accessible. And we're so used to receiving messages from that higher plane where, yes, we understand it, but I don't want to ever say there's a disconnect, but you're not talking human to human. You're talking human to spiritual being. And so, yeah, like they see what we can't see, right? And they'll never really know what it's like to be in our specific human body, right? Um, so so there's this kind of disconnect, right? And it's still beautiful, still amazing. And those are probably some of the cleanest messages to receive when you're talking to the spiritual plane. So I developed this method of talking to the future self where it doesn't have a lot of energetic blowback, right? Because we're not talking on that spiritual plane. So that you can, in fact, get some really specific, soulful information. And so I'm offering these future self sessions because I think I, I've done a really incredible job with them, and how the process for getting you in and getting you out really efficiently and safely, and where you can bring back something that you can hold on to. You get 4 sessions for $270, and it's designed so that between now and the end of the year, if you have a situation that comes up and you want to talk to the future self, you can. These messages aren't broad. It's not brush strokes. You're getting really direct insight that applies directly to the moment you're in. And it's my July special. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I know you will love it if you're into psychic information, if you are a manifester, if you have goals, dreams, and desires, if you're in a set of circumstances where you're like, holy Jesus, how am I going to get through this? This is for you. This is for you. It's for you. It's for you. For you. It's fun. Yeah. So future self sessions, go to my website, intuitivecoachingwithamy.com. You'll see it's up in the header, future self sessions. Again, it's my July special. And I have 4 more for sale, and then I'll close it. So thank you so much for listening to this show. I pray it was useful. I look forward to connecting with you on the next show. Take care of yourself. Goodbye.